This is RiverTalks with Jonathan Brush, President and CEO of Unbound.
This episode of RiverTalks today comes from an explicitly Christian perspective. I hope everything I do is informed by my Christian faith, but this one references it directly. So if you're a Christian, it ought to make sense to you. If you're not a Christian, well, hang in there. You get an interesting window into the way these crazy Christian people believe things. So here's a reality. Most of us, as we are going through life, we're going through life very concerned about success. At some level, we have either consciously or subconsciously assumed this idea that success is in some ways measured by our ability to gain wealth, fame, or power. So when we're looking to be successful, we want some increase in those three things. We want to have enough money. We want to have more money. We want to have some power, the ability to impact the world around us. We want to have some fame, the ability to be known by others. Now, here's a reality that I think that people don't think about, especially Christians don't think about very much. The reality is that being made in God's image means that we have the ability to shape and form the world to some extent around us. We're not gods, but we have creative ability and power. And so we have influence over the creation and over other people made in the image of God. And so if you're determined to gain fame, fortune, or power, you have innately inside of you the ability to gain that at some level. Now, you won't be able to do it entirely by yourself. You'll have to hustle. You'll have to work hard. You'll have to put all the things in place to gain fame, fortune, and power, work towards that. But as most people point out, you're going to need some breaks. You're going to need some things to go your way. Some of those things are a matter of timing. Here's the thing. I think that you'll find that if you're really determined to gain fame, fortune, and power, you'll get the breaks. The things will fall your way. You'll be able to find those things. And I would say that some of them will be supernaturally provided. I would also say they will be supernaturally provided by the wrong team. Because I think your enemy is delighted to allow you to experience worldly fame, fortune, and power. Because the more you concentrate on that, and the more you collect that, and the more you ignore some other things, the closer an alliance to your enemy you'll find yourself becoming. Now, what is the alternative to this? Well, the alternative to that is to instead trust that God will provide fame, fortune, and power to you in the measure and in the timing that you can actually handle. Now, that's a hard thing to accept because here's the reality. Many of us are not equipped spiritually, emotionally, mentally, perhaps physically to be able to handle fame, fortune, and power on a colossal scale. And by outsourcing this and saying, I trust God will only give me as much as I can handle, I may find that I can handle less than I desire. And yet, I'm convinced that if we take that attitude and we trust God with the results, and we instead focus on being as excellent as we can at the things right in front of us, that we concentrate at being extraordinary at ordinary things, and most importantly, we start with the basics, the fundamental things that we know are important and work on those first. Our relationship with the one who made us, our relationship with those closest to us, our children, our spouses, our friends, our community, our neighbors, our church, the places of influence that God has put us. That if we work on those first, then I think in many cases, we will find an increase sometimes in fame, fortune, and power, commiserate with that which we are able to handle, that we are spiritually equipped to deal with. And when that comes in that process, you will find that you are able to handle it correctly. That, as those things increase, they are increasing when you have a base of relational capital and safeguards and structures around you that don't make those things corrosive, that don't allow those things to become destructive. But you may find out that you don't get as much as maybe you think you wanted because maybe you're not equipped or called to have all the fame, fortune, and power. You can short circuit that. You can gain more. But in my observation, almost always at the cost of those basics, those relationships with the one who made you, with the ones closest to you, with those community connections. And then what happens is you find yourself with a lot of fame, a lot of fortune, a lot of power, maybe all three, and turns to ashes in your mouth because you're not equipped to deal with it. And the things that really are important and bring meaning to your life are not only not there, but hard to obtain. It's hard to have authentic relationships when you're the most powerful, famous, or wealthy person in the room. It's completely different if you gain that after having already built those relationships and you understand to use that fame, fortune, and power in a way that blesses others and honors God.